have had thought of this before. From the beginning, in fact, they just want to draw out the afternoon with needless driving around and tryings on because they don't know what else to do with their kids. Well, Vanders puts on that kind of a look, and music galore fills the shop. He stands in front of Harry like some freaking Amadeus. He is no doubt imagining our Harry as his orchestra. And Vanders is flabbergasted at how good of a choice he has made. He starts to whisper like a thespian in a particularly juicy role. This wand's brother is the wand of that scar maker, the guy who gave you your famous scar. Harry almost dookies a shooter, but controls himself. Harry is sick of whispery games, and he says normally, "What is this scar maker's name?" Ed Vanders all but holds up a skull and soliloquies. Oh, we don't say his name. But know this, he is a badass. He can kill anyone, anything, a gorilla or a bear, whatever, anything. Anything but you. Ed Vanders, wasteland of a face, crowds in close. His monologue is stinky. You are in a great position. You are an army of wizards, Mr. Potter. Use yourself wisely. His breath cascades over Harry's unbreathing nose. How long must I go without an intake of air? Thinks our Harry. It is the only thought that consumes his brain. Finally, breaking the mood, Hagar taps the window. Holy balls, he's bought the Turkish owl! Hurrah! Holy balls, he's bought the Turkish owl! Hurrah! Chapter 8. Hagar and Harry sit eating supper in a foggy wine spewed in. The depression creeps into Harry again. His powers seem infinite. Everyone loves and fears him, but he himself can't seem to find his place among them. He is outside of people, and the wine flows. So in an effort to cheer Harry up, Hagar decides to tell the tale of Harry's parents' death. Valmart is the name of the scar maker, he whispers. He is a wizard with uncanny powers. But this guy is so evil, as soon as he came out of the womb, he put a scar on his own forehead. Well, Valmart went to Hogwarts and started the Dark Side Club. It was actually the coolest club to be in at first. Everyone got a kick out of being in a club that stories were told about. You know, that's all anyone ever does anything for anyway, the sake of a story to be made of them. Well, you can be sure that Valmart earned his share of stories. You know, the club got strict. You had to love evil and not be shy about using murder spells, or else you'd be murdered. And your parents were some of the people who decided not to kill for fun. So Valmart went to their house and killed them. And while he was there, he tried to kill you. But the spell ricocheted off your head and hit him instead. Now, no one knows if he's dead or hiding as someone dead, but what's for sure is that he hates you for not dying. And it's sure that if he is alive, he'll try to finish off the job, probably when you are sleeping. And he'll probably look like someone you love, just to make it worse when he murders you. So, you know, be on the lookout for that, and, you know, be careful when someone loves you. Go, says Harry. Chapter 9. Whilst walking to the train station, Harry begins to feel the stomach butterflies accumulate. Hagar has been just stunned by the time of day. He must get that gunny sack to Dumbledore. So, He gives Harry his train ticket and then just totally freaking disappears on him. Harry then thinks to himself, what the hell is meant by 9 3/4? Platforms aren't broken up that way. Willikers! Harry feels dreadfully alone at this point. Yet then again, in a way, it is a thrill. Sensation. Here he is, a young lad, making his way in the world today, and stacks of gold coins in his pocket ease his worry. Carting along the Turkish owl and luggage, Harry makes his way up to interrupting a station man, only because he is afraid he might miss his train. Excuse me, where's platform 9 3/4? Fudge off, you fuck, says the horrible man. But thank God for the Irish. Harry overhears the red-headed mother of a red-headed herd of children speak wizardly, and he knows he's in luck. Follow them, Harry, Harry says to himself. Follow them or die. But watching them from a distance, Harry sees one boy, cart of luggage and all, disappear right into the brick wall between the 9th and 10th platform. Holy balls, I am not doing that, he thinks. Willikers. But some more kids whoosh through, and another and yet another, and Harry's nerves begin to settle. So finally he goes up to the mother and begs a lesson. Excuse me, Irish lady, can you show me how to do that? Here in the presence of such an honest and loving family, Harry feels immediate, latent Helsinki syndrome withdrawal for the Pork Family Project. He quickly shakes them off when the mother sweetly crimsons his bottom, and in Harry goes like a reversal birth into the negative plane of the brick wall that stands ominously in front of him. He overcomes the obvious fears attached to this little test and is on the correct platform. Ta-da! Ta-da! Ta-da forever! Well, bless my nippers, cries Harry. Bless them all day long. He stands in awe of the steaming engine, the train that shall propel him to his stage where he was born for, the Hogwarts Express. Chapter 10. As the Hogwarts Express drags along the countryside, all the kids' hearts race in time with the engine. The scene is so beautiful that the landscape is literally peppered with painters working out masterpiece after masterpiece. Ronnie the Weasel shows up and makes his grand entrance to share the compartment with Harry. The proud lad remembers Harry from the platform and takes a seat. In the introductions, Ron is struck with a face almost sacred when Harry introduces himself as VHP. The scar is called into question, it is shown, and it is wicked. The food service wench appears. Ron, obviously from a family whose money is spread thinly over a vast volume of loin products, cannot buy a thing. But the newly minted Monopoly champ HP flashes some coin, and the new friends celebrate over a pile of cakes and frogs and nipples of witchy Venus and rats and choco spells and fruit nuts, you know, wizardly fodder. The same kind of junky food you and I would wallow our mouths upon if we were in Harry and Ron's place. Ron loves Twizzlers. They talk over the syllabus and what's to be demanded.
Where are we taking this Freeman guy? Topside for questioning. What the hell for? We got him. Let's kill him now. And if they find the body? What body?
He'll pay.
Ron tells Harry that he is a pot of coffee by day, bottle of wine by night type of guy. Harry says, triple that and you got me. They laugh a congenial laugh, and both of them realize that they are instant friends. Friends forever. Just as Ron is about to produce yellow pillows, a spell he has learned at home, pillows of gold, he and Harry are interrupted by a horrible creature that is making its way down the hall and finally appears in the doorway. Only upon closer examination do Ronnie and HP realize that this thing is a girl looking for somebody's frog. Her hair seems to be made up of hair follicle-sized serpents, a prepubescent Medusa. She demands that Ron finish his spell, but by mere proximity to such a wretched creature, Ron cannot concentrate and almost kills his rat instead of producing pillows of gold. She tries to degrade Ron, but only looks stupid. Knowing that these boys obviously hate her filthy guts, she sits down and repairs Harry's glasses with a pretty cool spell. The boys have to admit that this creature posing as a humanoid has some chops. Definitely some chops indeed. Only after the spell does she recognize our HP for who he is. She intros herself as Harmony and begs Ronnie of his name, but he only growls and smacks in her direction. This prompts her to leave, and as a last-ditch effort to please, she informs Ronnie of his chocolatey nose. As if he did not know. Chapter 11. Finally, the moment of truth. The God wheel of fate has stopped for all these kiddies on yes. Yes, in fucking deed, you will be a wizard. And this moment is the first in a series of moments that no matter what feelings those moments embody, yes is still the answer. Yes to life. And yes to magic. And just look at their faces. Look at their auras. They are aglow. Dear readers, imagine a music that describes a nocturnal, heavenly yes as the children float on the black, still waters, boating up to the castle of Hogwarts School. Harry knows straight away that this will be a place where he shall surely brandish his wand valiantly. He knows in his heart that this is a stage where he will conjure and conquer the world with his ungodly charisma points. Harry trembles and steadies himself in the reassuring, pasty presence of Ron the Bear. This moment of yes consumes our Harry. He feels here that he is the thing of stories, and for this, he merely weeps a frenzy of weeps. The kids make a formation up to the school's entrance. They file up the main staircase and are met by none other than Professor Hardcastle McCormick, rasping her finger bones in withering patience as the children gather beneath her on the frontmost staircase. She speaks about the school and explains that the class here, now, will be divided into 4 different competitive schools. Her voice is chilling, like a piano made of frozen Windex. Her eyes flare out like smears of fish scales on her candle wax stump of a head. She goes on to describe the system of points and demerits, house cup, etc. Snoozers. All the kids are too tired to listen. The professor drones on in a dead parade about different alumni that everyone should remember, but is interrupted by a child named Upfish, who finally finds his frog. A victory for Upfish, but a staggering loss of control for Hardcastle. Clearly not knowing how to pull it back together, Hardcastle takes her leave. A dreadful kid with sunburned hair notices Harry somehow and calls him out in front of everybody. The murmurs begin. Like a cowboy, he saunters up to get a closer look at our HP. He intros himself as Mouth Oil, and of course, Ronnie busts up at this. The rich little bastard starts throwing class trash about Ronnie the Bear's hard-earning family being poor and rabbit-like. Of course, he goes for the shame spell. But our HP gets Ronnie's back by issuing forth a comment or two so deft I cannot even start to reproduce them here. This trumping does wonders for Harry's initial cred here at Hogwarts. Chapter 12. The children file into a glorious cafeteria where all the other pre-sorted students and teachers are awaiting the ceremony. A welcoming flute song accompanies their entrance as candles float in mid-air under a ceiling that appears to be made out of glass entirely. The night sky whispers an adjustment to the clouds above them. The faculty table is full of weirdo professors and goblin-faced women, and there are floppy and pointy head decorations, the true markings of master magicians. Hagar, Crump, himself slowly and tells some jokes about death that most of the kids just don't get. He then, after warming up the crowd, introduces the blood-eyed cat that is head of security, and then introduces the cat's manservant, Dazzler. He then closes with yet another joke about death, perplexing some and just plain scaring most of the kids. He sits down finally. Hardcastle announces that it is time to begin. Her manners are of a jilted lover's I didn't love him anyway sort of mood. The child sorting hat ceremony begins with the wretched Harmony. A wise child she is, and reminds herself not to freak out up there in front of everyone. The poor thing has complex on top of complex. She perches on a seat up in front of all the kids, and Hardcastle places an oogity-boogity hat on top of her hair. It grind dances on Harmony's head and grumbles pleasurably Gryffindor. Applause all around, and Harry thinks to himself that this will be a long, long night. Next up, Mouth Oil is called to face the grinding hat, but before his ass cheeks can even start to pancake out on the stool, he is assigned to Slytherin. Some other kids get up and have their fates directed, and right then, a wicked woman casts a look at Harry that makes his scar hurt. Ouch! This is the weirdest woman Harry has ever seen. A dark, foreboding weirdo that Harry feels certain will be the kind of teacher that paddles for fun. Ronnie the Bear is next up for the hat. Ronnie is sure that the hat will bear down on him and hunch away at his scalp for nothing. I mean, everyone knows that weasels are put into Gryffindor. Ronnie's 20 brothers and 12 sisters are all Gryffindor students or alumni or faculty. The obvious is true. Gryffindor it is. Professor Hardcastle tries to say Harry Potter, like it is no big deal. But the room goes quiet. Everyone edges in to see and hear what is gonna happen next. The rustle of bets and cash is muted between rows. Harry doesn't want to bunk with mouth oil, but that hat starts in about Harry's potential and near limitless talent and how it could blossom wickedly in Slytherin school. Oh, Harry only winces with this constant bombardment of pressure to impress. This damn hat, all these fucking kids and teachers looking at him like he's a fucking television. Ah, fuck it. Just don't put me with mouth oil, is all Harry keeps saying to the hat. Finally, the hat's oscillations tense and release upon Harry's scalp. Gryffindor, it is. It announces. Yes! The universe sighs its magical sigh. Harry is congratulated wildly by all his new bunkmates, but he feels numb and distant. A knowing glance is shared between the near-dead Dumbledore and the virile youth. Harry just hopes he can pound a few cold ones. Chapter 13. Dumbledore cast his stand without effort spell, following it up with his most pleasing food of plenty spell. If ever a room full of children has looked like little hyenas that have come upon a dead family of zebras, it is now. Piles of glitzy meats and sweetbreads appear. There are sweaty corns and honeyed everything. Talking bones loosen, and Harry relaxes into a whinish swagger. He talks closely with his RA. Hey, who the fuck is that woman over there? She's gotta be a half-troll. The RA replies, no, that's Professor Snape. She sucks for the most part, you know, acting mysterious and theatrical. God, I hate that shit, replies Harry. I'm here to learn, not to watch a performance. Just then, the conversation is busted up by a breeze of hilarious ghosts. There are women ghosts and musketeers. Little John the Ghost shows up and demands a song of farts, or else. The Count of Reeds whips lashingly every child in the face. No one is able to escape his mustached giggle. A ghost dance begins, and the kids watch as a transparent mashing of flash dances and footlooses fog up the rafters of mealtime. At any rate, every ghost becomes bored and evaporates either into the walls or out through the ceiling. And every student's belly is distended with jelly, wine, and pudding pops. The dinner is over. The RAs guide the new Gryffindors into the stairwell. The staircases are a maddening, mobile architecture that forever fuck up the students' days by moving here and there without warning. The kids climb stair after stair, ad infinitum. Some talk about art, others simply concentrate on not vomiting from the After all the wine and meat that all of these children have eaten, they are just hoping to finally get to their rooms so that they may use the potty and acquaint themselves with the water closets. They file in front of a painting of the most beautiful woman ever around. The RA says the code word, and the lady in the painting loosens her perfect tongue in her mouth and beckons everyone present to enter. Beyond the painting lies the Gryffindor parlor. Smoking, cards, and nightcaps will all be the room's main functions for the kids. The RA goes on to explain. Every one of these kids' parents once relaxed and bonded here by this very fire. All eyes are heavy. The day has been a storm of excitements, and the children, after laying out their uniforms and shoes, are quickly starring in each other's dreams. It is a beautiful pale blue night. All the children are burritoed up in their blankets, all except for Harry. Amid the semi-sweet chomping at headgear, we see Harry stroking his bird, lost in thought, bathed in the cold water of moonlight. Who am I now, he thinks, as he winks at the night, and it seems to whisper back to him, you are everything. Chapter 14. Harry awakes to yet another tequila sunrise. He and Ronnie the Bear are lost and late for their first class. But when the boys stumble out of breath into class, they are delighted to find that the teacher is either late or just out for coffee. But in unison, their faces scream, holy freaking balls, as the cat has been Professor Hardcastle this whole time. Willikers. The professor puts together a clever witticism about tardiness and George Washington's trees full of cherries. And Harry makes another mental note. Never pet cats that you don't know. No, never pet anything. The potions class's doors thrown dramatically open, and in dances that black hole of a woman with the scar-aching glare. She leans with her best effort to strike an attractive pose, while beginning to whet her students' appetite with a taste of what kind of rhetoric could be expected here. The stark impossibility that such a thing could be human, not to mention a human that Harry has to pay attention to, is only matched with Malfoy's apparent infatuation with her. They look into each other's eyes, like two serpents on a honeymoon. Professor Snape astonished that she has an admirer, and Malfoy astonished that he likes women. Snape, seeing now that Harry is not paying attention to her mouth's every shaping and massaging of notey syllables, calls him out and rags on his celebrity in front of everyone. Harry is surprised, for he was only taking notes intently. Then Snape demands from Harry how to make a certain spell. Harry good-naturedly says he just doesn't know. I mean, how could he? This is his first day. Christ! Driven by some unholy jealousy, the unfair snake presses him again. What is such and such? Or how many rat tails are in minkerfoils? Produce antimatter. Again, Harry, with the oil of Olivier, acts humble, demure even, thankful for the lesson. He controls the urge to slay Snake's ears with a few fiery riffs off his wand. But Snake finally subsides with her onslaught. She stupidly feels she has cowed our Harry.